Welcome to Ecotopia U Media. I am your host, Melissa McGinnis, joined by my co-host, Tom Wright, and a very special guest today, Holly Elmore. So nice to see you here.
Thank you.
So tell us about some of the work you're doing in Atlanta.
Well, under the auspice of our nonprofit, Elemental Impact, we have some very exciting programs. One of the programs that we talked about right before is at the Atlanta airport, the busiest airport in the world.
The busiest airport in the world.
And they have a contract provision in their 2011 concessionaire contract that requires all of their tenants to use compostable food and beverage packaging.
That's fascinating.
And that was groundbreaking back in 2011. And in fact, they got a Greening Airports Award for that.
And was that easy for them to find, this type of packaging?
Oh, the packaging exists.
Okay.
It has to be BPI certified. That is the third-party certification. And it's quite available. But what made this groundbreaking is that the airport put it literally in the concessionaire contract. It is a legally binding contract provision for the concessionaires. And if you think about it, it's the busiest airport in the world. And it's a 10-year contract, 3 one-year options. That's the largest food service contract probably issued. And it has that provision in there. It set the standard.
That's phenomenal.
And you must use compostable packaging for an effective front-of-the-house food waste collection programs.
Wow.
Does it specify third-party certified compostable?
What we did is not in the actual contract provision, but Elemental Impact helped with the policy setting via a information packet that was released in 2012. And in there we specified that it must be third-party certified and BPI certified, which is the industry standard.
What is it? Forgive me for asking, BPI certified.
Ironically, it stands for Biodegradable Products Institute. And the reason it's an irony is here we're in California at the U.S. Zero Waste Business Council and National Convention in Los Angeles. And in California, you cannot refer to these certified compostable products as biodegradable. You can't use that language. Yet the certified compostable products are certified by BPI, which is Biodegradable Products Institute. It's sort of a legacy brand name. When they used to be interchangeable, but we specifically, it's like natural and organic. You know, most people get them confused, but this really is a big different, qualitative different. Natural really doesn't have a meaning and organic does. What's similar, where biodegradable doesn't, I mean, you and I biodegrade, okay, but certified compostable is just that. It's designed to be composted in an industrial setting. That's what it means.
I think it's fascinating that they started that a couple years ago in terms of when they were becoming the greenest airport, or one of the greatest
on the journey.
On the journey, that they started with packaging. Usually, that's something that happens after the fact. They usually start with natural gas and LEDs, things like that.
Oh, they were doing all of that. Okay, but what they had coming up was the RFP, request for proposals, for their new contracts. And remember, 10-year contract, 3 one-year provisions. So Michael Shane, who's the Director of Asset Management and Sustainability, he's a forerunner. He understood, he's a hero in my eyes. So he understood that he had to get this contract provision in now, and so it could be implemented in a few years, because otherwise his hands were tied. He couldn't require it. And that's one of the things that Elemental Impact works on. We are not involved in public policy or legislation, but what we do work on is, with the business community, how can we get legally binding contract provisions that provide the necessary teamwork for zero waste success? Because that is one of the bottom lines.
And having it contractual really makes a big difference versus just a verbal commitment, because it's binding.
It's binding. You can get fined. You can have your contract terminated.
And lose your business opportunity.
Right. It's legally binding.
Mr. Shane definitely was leading.
Absolutely.
Especially having it so far out, 10 years.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations for working on that.
What
other exciting things are you up to?
How did Holly get into this space?
Well, let me first tell you that I'm a business person. Okay, so this didn't start out as sustainability. I started out my professional career at Arthur Andersen in audit. Then I was controller for a huge I was controller for a large real estate developer. And so at the core, I'm a business person. Okay, so when I started Elemental Impact, one of the things we did, we set some parameters. We're B2B business. We deal with the corporate community. Okay, that's number one. Number two, we're all about improving the bottom line. Everything that we do must make good, solid business sense. And improving the bottom line is, the key one, but there's also, is it marketing and PR? Is it employee morale? Is it customer demand? So we come at things from the business perspective. And how we started Elemental Impact is, I was the founder also of the Green Food Service Alliance that was under the auspice of the Georgia Restaurant Association. And that was when Local and Sustainable, this is in 2007, 2008, came out, and I knew what my producer's task force was. I didn't know what this green thing was. It was new. Well, all of a sudden, the city of Atlanta lost a convention to the city of Orlando because Orlando was perceived as a greener city. And the light bulb went off. Aha, I've got my business opportunity. That's economic vitality for our city, is it not? So we formed the Zero Waste Zones. And I went out and we recruited all of the big players, the Georgia World Congress Center, the 4th largest convention center in the nation, 20-acre Olympic Centennial Park, the Georgia Dome where the Falcons play, World of Coca-Cola, the Georgia Aquarium, Ted's Montana Grill, Laura Turner Seidel, Ted Turner's daughter, the chair, and then a lot of our large hotels. And they formed and joined the Zero Waste Zones that launched in February of 2009. And what put us on the map is we were the forerunners for the commercial collection of food waste for composting. Okay, we were on the homepage of CNN.com, Earth Week of 2009.
CNN is based in Atlanta too, isn't it?
It sure is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we get a lot of coverage there. No travel expense.
Yes.
And we were also on the homepage of New York Times. But we sold the Zero Waste Zones to the National Restaurant Association in 2012. So what we're doing is we're expanding to what we call recycling refinement, and that is moving beyond landfill diversion. We operate that under a tagline of recycling integrity, maximizing material value, minimal energy expended. We do not support for the corporate community single stream recycling. We, in our viewpoint, the generator of the material is responsible for handling that value, the value of it. And that they, in our viewpoint, if you're a larger generator, then you source separate that and you sell it and you create profit centers. And we, go on.
No, I'm just fascinated.
It is. It's we have right now what's under development is the source separated materials recycling template, and it's basically
Say that again?
source
Recycling separating template.
Not quite. Almost. The source separated materials recycling template.
Okay.
And the Georgia World Congress Center is our lead pioneer, and they are separating out their material using a small baler. And right now we're separating out aluminum, PET, and paper, mixed paper. And then we pick it up. It's simple, box truck. You pick it up, we take it to a recycling center, we rebale it into standard size bales because mini bales have no direct market value.
Right.
Okay? And how you
Well,
sell.
this is interesting trivia for our listeners about the bale, the unit of sale is a specific, very large.
And it's
bale.
not just the large bale, it's by the tractor trailer load of those bales.
Yeah.
So at our recycling center, we rebale into standard size bales, and then we store it by the tractor trailer load till we sell it, and then we distribute back to the participants. That's how you get your maximum value. And I'm very honored to tell you that our recycling center is the Atlanta Penitentiary.
Oh, wonderful.
So we bring social consciousness
of course,
into play.
And
okay?
work
And so what we're doing is we're building the infrastructure. So the corporate community in Atlanta, and then a template for other cities, has an option other than single stream recycling.
Do you think they'll ever formulate or refine, if you will, all of the different types of plastics to make recycling easier or more efficient? We talk about this often, that just because it's collected doesn't necessarily mean it's recycled or easily recycled.
Well, the trivia I always bring up is the PET bottle and the PET clamshell. Always both say PET.
They're not.
They can't go in the same stream.
Right.
Will they ever get together and form something like you're saying? It's the responsibility of the generator.
Well, what we're doing is we're taking steps, because if you try to look at the entire picture, you'll get overwhelmed. it'll feel impossible and nothing will happen. So what we do is we take the sliver. We go in and we take what we would consider the easy win. And right now the plastics that we look at, PET of course, plastic film is valuable. And there's a tremendous amount of plastic film, especially at malls. And so a bale of plastic film, clean, has a higher value than OCC, which is old corrugated cardboard. That's big. But in what happened back in 2011 is the garment industry shifted. They used to ship in bulk packaging of their garments. And now everything is individual. So if you go into a department store, all those shirts, pants, blouses, they came in an individual, clean plastic bag, virgin material. And it's expensive to haul it away, to put in. It's bulky. And the big thing is plastic film is a contaminant in single stream recycling because it wraps around the mechanical equipment. So
The tumblers, for the audience, what she's describing at a recycling MRF is that they use these tumbling action. And so if it's
I mean,
film,
it would make sense that it
Yeah.
would just get trapped.
Yeah.
So what we have, because remember, I'm the business person, I brought that up, little accountant here. So what we have, because it must make good business sense, you have here what it would have cost to go to landfill for this plastic film. So that's a cost savings. But now on the other hand, you have the revenue, they call them rebates, that you sold the plastic for. So that starts the foundation of a program. So that's an easy win. Right there, and that covers the cost of the baler, and it sets in motion. Another easy win is aluminum if you're like the Georgia World Congress Center or a place like that.
Well, I love that you're focusing on one area to make it the best and a case study or story for all these other different cities and states.
And we document. That I am known for my documentation.
Well, I am just so honored to have met you. I'm so impressed. I want to get out to Atlanta and see your work firsthand.
Love for you to come to Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful city.
Thanks for all that you're
Thank
doing.
you.
thank you, Holly.
Thank you.